Well, welcome back to Carolina Saltwater Living, y'all. You may be wondering, why do I have a stand mixer here? It looks like I'm getting ready to do something serious. And what's up with the big cast iron pan? How's that gonna go together? Well, y'all, we are making my favorite pizza today. I've been making this thing for about 20 years. I call it, and a whole bunch of other people also call it, a copycat version of probably a 1980s style Pizza Hut pizza, a pan pizza. I do it a little bit different than other folks though. This is one thing where I actually have a recipe that I've had wrote down for years that I kind of came up with on my own to get those flavors I was looking for from my youth. So today let's put together a Pizza Hut pizza from the 1980s that most of you that actually watch our channel will remember. So I do not use recipes when I'm cooking anything savory whatsoever. There's a few exceptions to that. I actually came up with this recipe on my own years ago, y'all, and there are plenty of versions of this copycat style Pizza Hut pizza out there, but I'm gonna give you the directions and instructions. I'm gonna give you the ingredient list and the instructions real quick. If you can hear me over the washing machine back there, because this is real living, y'all. We actually have other things going on other than making this cooking video right now. 3 cups all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup of dry milk, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of dry active yeast. We're using rapid rise yeast today, and a 1/4 cup of oil. I'm going to use something, and if you watch our channel, you already know what I'm going to use. But I'll show you here in a few minutes something different. Gonna mix all the dry ingredients, gonna proof the yeast. Then we're gonna add that fat and wet ingredients together, making a loose, sticky dough, y'all. Then we're gonna proof it for quite a while. So follow along, I won't let you get lost. All right, starting off with 3 cups of all-purpose flour straight into the mixing bowl. No sifting, nothing like that. Not making biscuits, making pizza dough. And y'all, I'm using something I've never used. I'm using rapid rise. Lisa, we were actually out of yeast. She sent me to the store. She said, come back with rapid rise yeast. I've always proofed my yeast in warm water, but this says, the instructions on the packet, no proofing required. Just add it straight to what you're doing. So I'm gonna throw it in there. We're gonna see how this works out. About a 1/4 teaspoon of salt there. Now, dried milk powder. I've been using this stuff in these pizza crusts. Like I said, I've been making these for about 20 years. And until I started adding, and I've got wrote down a 1/4 cup of dry milk. We're gonna go just a little bit heavier than that. This gives it a different flavor. It's much richer. And so don't leave the dried milk powder out. You'll be like, what's that for? It's a richer crust. All right, after the dried milk powder, let's see, sugar. And we've got a teaspoon of sugar on there. But we're going with just a little bit more because I find that just a little bit more helps that yeast to have something a little extra. It's kind of like putting high octane in your car instead of 87. Put that high octane racing gas in there and it will make this proof that much better. Just a little bit more something for it to cook out, y'all. Once all that's in your mixing bowl, mix all the dry ingredients up. Nothing special, just mix it up for a minute or so to incorporate everything. There we go, that's incorporated, good enough. Now it is time for some wet ingredients. Now that our dry ingredients are mixed together, Hog lard, y'all. Nice golden to clear hog lard. 1/4 cup instead of canola oil or something like that. It's going to give this dough a much richer flavor. And y'all, if we're going to eat good, I want it to taste good. Once your lard is in there, and all you got to do, y'all, is melt it down on the stove top, throw it in the microwave for a second, and then give that a stir. It's not going to be all the liquid that you need, but we're just getting it started. This is just warm tap water, y'all. We'll add a little bit at a time. We don't want it soupy. We need it to come together and be good and sticky. This is a real sticky dough that I'm making. It's not going to be dry like for rolling out. Once you have enough water in there, increase the speed of the mixture. A little bit at a time. There we go. It's like doing it by hand, but a whole lot easier. You got to stay with it. It'll run away from you. But once you're done, you'll have a dough that is nice and sticky. And when I say sticky, put your fingers on it, it's going to stick a little bit. But it's not going to be like a dough you're going to roll out into a ball right now and roll out and fold and roll out and fold. No, we're going to leave it in here with a little bit extra fat. This thing has to proof for 4 hours, y'all, so that's the next step. Now it's time to put some plastic wrap over the top. After you've reached this stage, and you can see the ball of dough, it is extremely tacky. It's not dry. There's no signs of dryness on it. It's probably wetter than most doughs. All right, I'm using this a whole lot here, just trying to make you understand. Make it wetter than you would other doughs that you have made before. Now, put it in a dry spot. Dry and warm inside of your house, and this thing's going to proof for 4 hours. After 4 hours, here's what you're left with. This thing has about tripled in size, but we're not done yet. We're going to get the dough out, and this is going to make 2 pizzas. We've got to get the dough out of this bowl, but what I'm going to do with it here is split it right down the middle. And flop one of them straight down into my biggest cast iron pan that has olive oil drizzled in the bottom. And y'all, this is probably the easiest thing. There's no rolling, nothing like that. We're just gonna mash it out. And there's enough lard in that dough that it does not stick to your hands. Just mash it out into the bottom of this pan. Don't worry about trying to form crust along the edge or anything like that to start with, because we're not done proofing this dough. You want it to look just like that once you're done. Get the other one done, put more plastic wrap on top. It has 2 more hours to proof, to come on up and rise. Where y'all are at, but it has been really cold down here at the beach. So I thought that a nice hot pizza would be really good for supper tonight. While we are waiting on the oven to get up to 500 degrees. Y'all, that's where you want to put it at. If your oven will make it all the way that far, to 500, that's where you want it at. It's going to crisp up these pizzas just like those pizzas from the 1980s that I remember going out to Pizza Hut when I was a kid. We had a farm pond, and Dad had a mailbox up. People could put $2 in, and they could fish it all day long. And he would take that money off the honor system from people that came to fish and take us out on the weekend to get Pizza Hut pizza. So that was a good memory. But those crispy golden crusts, y'all, that's what we're making right here. That 1980s style pizza. But while that oven is getting good and hot, we'll get our prep work done. Lisa was kind enough to shred all the mozzarella for me. Just pepperoni that you can find in any of your grocery stores, already sliced. You don't even have to worry about doing that. So that makes it quick and easy. And nothing store-bought right here. This pizza sauce, Lisa canned in the garden. Not in the garden, but from stuff from the garden last year. And we love it. It is so much better than anything store-bought we've ever had. So while the oven is getting nice and hot, we're going to get everything ready so we can build these pizzas and get them in the oven. I can smell the oregano. I love it, y'all. This is just great. I could drink this out of the jar. That's how much I like the pizza sauce that Lisa makes. But we're going to take one of our doughs, and look how it is reproofed itself. It's up about close to 1 inch tall. I'm going to mash it back down and start forming my crust on the outside. And it's going to rise again a little bit before it even goes in the oven. So don't worry about mashing the air out of this crust, because we're wanting not an extremely thin crust, but something about like that, nice and fluffy. That's what I remember from those 1980s style Pizza Hut pizzas. It's a real simple pizza, y'all. And I don't go real heavy on my sauce. And this is a thinner sauce than what you're going to find in a store. I actually prefer that. I like it better. Easy to spread around. So I go light on my sauce. And don't worry that we're not using all of this on these two pizzas. We'll be making snacks throughout the week while this sauce is in the fridge. Tortilla pizzas, pouring it just in a bowl and dipping it with chips. It's that good, y'all. After you get the sauce on it, it's cheese time. A lot of people put the cheese on last, and it doesn't allow your pepperonis to crisp up. I like the cheese on first. And I like a cheesy pizza. Lisa likes it with a little bit less, so I will try to accommodate. And if you wanted a thicker pizza sauce, all you have to do is reduce that down further. And that will just intensify the flavors as well. That's probably about a cup or so of mozzarella on this pizza. Now, pepperonis. Just grab me a handful, and I like a lot of pepperoni, y'all. I was the meat lovers fan when we would go have pizza. So I put them on there a little extra thick. After the pepperonis, that's when the mushrooms get to go on. And I'm going to drizzle this with just a little bit of olive oil after these go on, and hit it with a few seasonings. We're not going to rely solely on that pizza sauce to give us the seasonings that we're looking for. Kosher salt right over the top. dried oregano. Shake that around. And a little bit, I think I said oregano. Oregano here, dried garlic is what I just put on. A little bit of oregano right on the top. This is going to make just a simple pizza, but it is anything but simple when it comes to flavor. A little olive oil right on top, and that's it. Y'all, that is what I remember from 1980s Pizza Hut pizza. That crust, look at that golden crust. And that's all from that hog lard, y'all. This thing's screaming hot, but we got to do a little something extra to it to make it like the 1980s. Some of this same Parmesan type cheese that they put on the tables for you, that I'm sure has plenty of wood pulp in it to keep it from caking together. Actually, no, this one says it doesn't have it. And that's from Walmart. But that's what 1980s Pizza Hut on a plate looks like. Now let's see what it tastes like. Some of y'all will probably give me a hard time for cutting this with a fork and eating it. And I really don't care. I even saw where President Trump eats his pizza with a fork. I ate it like this growing up, y'all. So hot, you're going to burn the roof of your mouth. Look at that pizza. Exactly. That is 1980s Pizza Hut. Saturday night, jukebox playing, kids running around. That's what that is right there. Brings back good memories. Some people will tell you, that's not pizza. Only pizza's in New York. New York style pizza. Well, I'm not in New York. Never been, probably never will be. And this is my kind of pizza. Not that I don't like those styles of pizza too. You can't beat it. Look at the crust on the bottom. See how that pan has fried it? It's that good, y'all. It's that good. I don't know why Pizza Hut ever went away from however they made these pizzas back in the 80s. But I got a feeling they were using some hog lard, just like me. Guys, y'all have a good day and a great week. And Lord willing, and the creek don't rise too high. We will see you on the next one. Make this pizza. You will be so surprised at how easy it is and how much it reminds you of Pizza Hut pan pizza from the 80s.